Hey, what's up guys? Alright, so we have the full chapter summary for Boku no Hero Academia out, but before I get into the spoilers for this week's chapter, I do want to mention that it was just announced a little while ago, I believe by the unofficial news account for Shonen Jump on Twitter, that Boku no Hero Academia will be going on break next week. Now, with that out of the way, let's jump right into the spoilers, this time courtesy of Lena over on Twitter. The chapter is going to be called Extras. The chapter begins with Endeavor wounded on the ground. He wonders if Shoto and Dabi are okay, and tries to get up, but then falls down again. Alright, so it sounds like Endeavor's going to be going through it in the beginning of this chapter. He recognizes that it was wrong to get angry with All for One because the one responsible for this battle and these wounds is himself. Cut back to the sky with Hawk stating that he was able to feel through his feathers that the attack narrowly missed Endeavor's lungs. In other words, he can still fight, and Hawks will proceed with the plan based on this. Tokiyami gets angry with his master and says that he was sent to this area precisely to provide air support, so it makes no sense to tell him to get out. Hawks acknowledges his mistake and asks, "Save me one more time, hero." All for One says he can't waste much time and begins to transform his entire arm. So we're not going to be seeing him just transforming his hand this time or his fingers. He's actually going to transform the entire arm, kind of like what he did to Endeavor in the last chapter. In his thoughts, he deduces that Endeavor is not dead and the other three will try to stall for time until his return. The two birds are a problem and the best way to destabilize them is to attack Jirou. So he sends several eel-looking creatures in her direction. However, Hawk sends her up with his feathers and cuts off the attack before it hits her. He then sends these feathers towards All for One's mask and hits it again with his sword, but it's still not strong enough. Tokiyami holds Jirou and tells her that the mask is the target, that destroying it with sound will bring their victory. Okay. Alright, so we're getting everyone who's here, which by the way, aren't there more people on their team? Why are we only seeing these four attacking? Don't they have more people involved in this fight? Where are the other members of the team? Jirou has an intense expression and is shaking. She says that she has determination to spare, but she was barely able to see the attacks launched towards her. She then realizes that Midoriya and Aoyama were constantly fighting the sphere. Alright, you know what? I can understand why Jirou is kind of scared right now. I mean, she is going up against All for One, like the big boss of big bosses. I mean, let's be honest, out of all of us out there, who really thought that Jirou, of all characters from Class 1A, would be involved in this fight? Like seriously, if there's any person out there who says that Jirou would be one of the few members from Class 1A who actually gets involved in a fight against All for One himself, without the rest of Class 1A, the entire Class 1A being there backing her up, or backing up Midoriya, I should say, there's no way anyone could say that. There's no way anyone could say with a straight face that they predicted that she would be one of the few people actually trying to fight this guy. And I mean, let's be real, Jirou's abilities are strangely useful in this fight with her heartbeat wall being able to deflect attacks, but ultimately she's not really that powerful. So her going up against the powerhouse that is All for One, the big bad, the scary guy that he is, I can understand why she would be shaking her in her boots. And the fact that she's even standing here and even was able to launch that one attack in order to protect Hawks in the last chapter, she's already like had her best feat in the entire series so far, and anything she does from here on will just be icing on the cake. Like, Jirou is done. Like, if Jirou does nothing for the rest of the series, then that's good for her. She's already proven herself worthy of being a hero just for what she did in the last chapter alone, and the fact that she is standing here right now. All for One realizes that she's trembling and starts to tease her, saying that she must have gone to the battlefield with a student mindset. Then he turns his arm into a cannon much bigger than his own body, and shoots in the direction of the two and says that the supporting characters have dreamed too big. Hawks tries to stop it, but is hit by the rivet stabs coming out of the fingers of All for One's other hand. Tokiyami and Jirou are injured, bleeding, and with torn clothes. It is then that she begins to say that things like fear, strength, and weakness make no difference at all. Her friends have all cried because of what All for One did, and that's all that matters to Jirou. Again, Jirou, dude, you are rocking it in these past two chapters, and really, if you end up doing nothing else for the rest of the series, for the rest of this war, you are good, you are golden, you have hit the high standard when it comes to Class 1A. You have made it all the way up from being a B tier character to being now, with this like sequence that we're getting in this chapter, possibly into my top 5. She shouts this with tears in her eyes and launches a heartbeat surround legato, which hits All for One. Again, Jirou, you are killing it right now. Despite being hit, All for One says that it was too weak, but just as he's about to strike back, he feels people grabbing his body inside the Vestige world. He realizes that they are the quirks he has stolen over the years. Okay, so that's actually kind of interesting. So we had the wheels of all the normal people whose quirks he's stolen over the years actually kind of rising against them. Which, if they could do that, I wonder if this has anything to do with. Well, no, actually, shouldn't have. Would Star's quirk, with what she did with her quirk before she died, would that affect the main body All for One, or would that only affect Shigaraki? I would think it only affects Shigaraki. But if that's the case, then why are they just now rising up unless Jirou's attack has something to do with it? Like her heartbeats around legato somehow triggered the like ghost or spirits of the vestiges of the quirks that he's stolen from other people and made them start to react and rebel against All for One. Because that's the only thing I can think of as to why they would choose now to rebel against him. He wonders if it's the work of New Order. Alright, like I said, it's probably after effect of New Order. But no, the weakness of an extra has reverberated within him. So, oh shit, so I was right. So Jirou using her heartbeat sound legato actually caused his ghost vestiges from the people he stole quirks from to actually rebel inside of him. That's actually kind of dope. That's the actual side effect of her ability that in no other way would actually work and actually be effective against anyone else besides this opponent right here, and possibly against Shigaraki as well. So while he is stunned, Jirou shouts at Hawks to take this chance. He remembers the 3 blows he landed against the mask throughout the battle and notices a crack. He then uses Jirou's attack to pick up even more speed and hits him with everything, breaking both his sword and a piece of All for One's mask. End of chapter. Alright, so we're finally making some headway with the mask. We got them breaking it apart a little bit in this chapter. Now, preferably, I would actually like to see in the beginning of the next chapter, we just see the entire mask breaking apart and kind of put an end to this fight in that chapter. But more than likely, we're not going to see that happen until Endeavor gets re-involved. So more than likely what's going to happen in the next chapter is that after seeing that they managed to crack the mask and starting to panic a little bit, All for One's probably going to go on the offensive even more, probably do some more damage to these characters, and then Endeavor is going to finally break his shit and kind of just get back on his feet. And he's going to be the one to land the finishing blow on All for One breaking the mask. But here's the thing, I don't think that them breaking the mask will actually be the end of All for One just yet. I think that he, obviously he's going to end up probably dying because of that, but what I think is going to happen is that he's going to take someone out with him. And unfortunately, even though I kind of like the way that they're kind of redeeming Endeavor, and I was hoping that at some point at the end of the series, we might get to see him kind of redeemed in his family's eyes and maybe kind of start to building their trust again and building that relationship back up. I kind of get the feeling that if that happens and my prediction ends up being right, that All for One's going to take Endeavor down with him. But anyway guys, that is it for this spoilers video. Like I said, I'm extremely excited about this fight. It's the fight I was looking forward to the most out of all of them. And I'm just enjoying every single chapter of it. I mean, seriously, everything that's happened in it so far has just been a complete surprise. Who would have thought that Jirou and Tokiyami would actually get involved in this fight, and that Jirou will be the breakout star of the entire thing. No one could have saw that coming. And I'm excited to see what actually is going to be coming up in the next chapter and the chapter after that. But anyway guys, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.